at the Coroners Act of 1960 and then the calls, the various calls that are coming in for a public inquiry or an inquisition or an inquest into the cause of death of Ghana's late president, His Excellency John Evans Atta Mills. Tonight, we're looking at the position of the law vis-a-vis those calls and to see whether those calls are legal, whether they are tenable, whether they are justified or otherwise. And then we also look at the voices of some interest groups as to what the broader discussion should be. Should it be the case as being proposed by the Forum for Governance and Justice that the health of president should be a matter that should be included in the prerequisite for anybody to climb or to ascend the highest office of the land? Tonight, to help me do the discussion, we have a lawyer, Abraham Amaliba, who is a private legal practitioner, and then also have Fifi Ankra, who is a member of the government communication team. Along the line, the last part of the show, we'll open the phone lines for you to bring in your questions, your contributions, and then some other comments. And let me use this opportunity on behalf of the Funeral Planning Committee to say thank you to all Ghanaians who have, in various ways, in diverse ways, prayers, donations, and your participation during the 3 days funeral celebration of Ghana's late president. You indeed showed your love and then showed your commitment, and we gave His Excellency President John Evans Atta Mills a befitting burial. Kudos to our security officers for maintaining law and order at the park. Let me begin with our lawyer to give us some legal education on the Coroners Code Act of 1960. Yeah, Abraham, who is a coroner by our laws?
The law has not given us a definition of who a coroner is, but has indicated who the coroner is.
Okay.
So there's no definition of who a coroner or what is a coroner, but there is the person called a coroner.
Okay.
But I have made my own research, and the definition is what I'm going to give you now. It simply says that it's a public official whose duty it is to investigate deaths that are unnatural in nature, deaths that occurred as a result of violence, and deaths that are suspicious in nature. And so this person has the responsibility to investigate or inquire into these deaths.
So the coroner might not be a doctor,
in fact,
lawyer,
the coroner, now I'll now come to the law. The law, the Coroners Act, Act 18, is a small piece of legislation with just some 24 sections, says that the coroner is the magistrate, the district magistrate responsible for the district in which his jurisdiction resides. So the coroner is actually a magistrate. It's not a doctor or a medical practitioner. So this person has this duty to inquire into any violent death, to inquire into any deaths that are suspicious in nature, and to inquire into deaths that are unnatural. That's the duty of the coroner.
Okay, so the position is what is stated in the Coroners Act of 1960. Yeah, if you can take us through some of the relevant sections, for instance.
So, for instance, Section 1 of the Coroners Act says that the district magistrate is the coroner.
Okay.
Just as I indicated. And so his area of jurisdiction is the district court to which the magistrate is appointed. So Medina has a district court. The district magistrate there is the coroner for that district. That's the implication. Now, Section 2 is also relevant, notification of death. And I'm particularly interested in Section 2(3). It says that a person in charge of a hospital in which a person has died, an unnatural death, shall forthwith give notice of the death to the coroner for the district. So you see, 2 things happen here. The hospital that the person died would have to come to the conclusion that this death is unnatural first. They have to determine that. Before they are now under an obligation to then report the matter to the coroner, who is the district magistrate.
Does the law state clearly what amounts to unnatural death?
The law does not indicate what amounts to unnatural death. But unnatural death, from the readings I have done, could imply that that person probably was struck with something.
Okay.
Say you hit somebody with an implement and he dies. That's unnatural death. And in my definition, I indicated that death arising out of violent act.
Okay.
That's also an unnatural death. And deaths that are suspicious in nature. How did that person die? Through poisoning and all those things. So these are the ingredients of probably an unnatural death.
Okay. Okay. And then you indicated that the body must be found, notification of deaths, for instance, before the coroner is notified of those deaths.
Exactly.
Under what conditions or circumstances should the coroner be notified about the death or the demise of anybody?
So there are various ways. This one, I indicated one who died in a hospital facility. There's also another section that talks about a person in charge of a prison, lockup. A lockup could be
like an asylum.
Asylum.
Okay.
A psychiatric hospital or a public institution other than a hospital shall forthwith give notice to the coroner for a district of the death of a person detained in that place.
Okay.
So apart from the hospital, there's also this requirement. Say in our prisons, people die there. You need to have a coroner's report on that person. So these are the circumstances. So it is not, so the section 2.1 says that where a body is found, so whilst you are walking, you find a body, a diseased person lying somewhere. Where a body is found, or where a person has died, a violent or any other unnatural death, or a death of which the cause is unknown, a person finding the body or becoming aware of the death shall forthwith give notice of the death to the officer in charge of the nearest police station.
And I think we do that often.
Often.
Yes.
You hear people, even our radio stations will make an announcement that the police should head towards Medina. There's a dead body lying, so and so. This is the kind of thing.
Oh, okay. So this practice actually has been in effect for all this
It has
while.
been in effect. And we have been doing that unconsciously. Not knowing that we have been complying with the Coroners Act.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's juxtapose the position of the law as regards the death of President Mills. From the definition that you've given, President Mills did not die he did not die an unnatural death. Of course, he died at the 37 military hospital. And then one of the groups, AFAG, in the statements they issued recently, if I should quote paragraph 4 of the statements, it says that this view goes contrary to the state of the country's laws, which makes it mandatory for a coroner to look into the death of a person who dies not in a hospital or within 24 hours of being brought to a hospital. The late president's death falls within this category. Is that a statement of fact?
This is a sweeping statement. You talk about the law. We are speaking here, and I'm speaking to a law, and I'm quoting various sections. They should have quoted a section of any law that binds the hospital to do so.
Okay.
They are confusing a postmortem examination with a coroner's report.
Okay.
And as for postmortem, once you die in the hospital, that will be carried out. And I'm sure that was carried out. And that was why Cadman Mills was able to tell the whole nation that his brother died out of massive stroke. And because I am aware that he and the son, Kofi, were the ones, you know, when a postmortem is going to take place, you have your relative must be there, a relative of the deceased must be there.
As a witness.
As a witness. So they were the witnesses.
Okay.
So the speculations and those type of arguments that he died out of his own blood.
In fact, there have been 9 different positions
on this matter.
Yes, on the matter.
For me, I will err on the side of Dr. Cadman Mills because he was the one who received the postmortem.
Okay.
And he says that the brother died out of massive stroke. And I think the matter should rest.
Okay.
Now, when you juxtapose that to the Coroners Act, you need to ask yourself, did the former president, the late president, died out of any violent act? Those who are calling for the coroner's report should be telling us that because of a violent act he died, we need to have a coroner's report.
Okay.
Did he die out of any suspicious event, or was his death an unnatural death? What we are doing is usurping the powers of the medical authorities. as if to say that those at 37 military hospital do not know their left from their right, and do not know what amounts to an unnatural death and what doesn't amount to a natural death. What we are doing and calling for a coroner's report is to say that we are now the medical practitioners. And I'm sad that those who know better are also falling in line and calling for a coroner's report, when indeed the death does not fall within this. The Ghana Medical Association called for a presidential inquiry. I don't know what that means. But if that presidential inquiry is to determine the state of affairs within the presidency, the castle, in terms of its readiness to provide medical assistance or facilities, that I go for. So, for instance, do we have a well-equipped clinic there to forestall such eventualities? I go for that.
Okay.
Did we have, at the time, did we have an ambulance system which was well-equipped with medicines? Our paramedics, did we have them stand by? If not, what is the Ministry of Health doing to ensure that we have those things? I'm all for that.
That is the bigger picture.
That's it.
Okay.
But to talk about a coroner's report and saying that the Coroners Act says that, I am challenging anybody who knows the law to come and contradict this.
Okay. Does the law state anywhere that there should be an inquest within 24 hours when a person is
Not at all. I told you that this is a piece of legislation which is just 24 sections. And you could read this over and over and over and over. There's nowhere that indicates that 24 hours there must be such a report.
Okay. So the claims by Dr. Nana Efriye of AFAC saying that within 24 hours of a person being brought to a hospital there should be a coroner's inquest is untenable.
That's a palpable lie.
Tonight we're looking at the Coroners Act 1960 in relation to the demise of His Excellency President Mills and the call by some groups for an inquest into the death of the president in relation to the Coroners Act of 1960. Let me come to Fifi. Fifi, we've had different sides of a story, and then different versions of a story, different sides of a story in relation to the circumstances under which His Excellency President Mills died. Of course, we were told by his relations and how Abraham stated earlier, how the president passed on, especially the statement made by Cadman Mills, his own brother, at the graveside of the president. What do you think is the motive for these various tales to the same story?
Thank you, Mr. Host, and also a warm good evening to our cherished viewers. What we have here is a group of people who are trying to make political capital out of nothing. I say that because the president died. Even before he died, they told us several stories how he was sick or whatever. At one stage, they wore, funeral cloth, showed him the red card, hoping and praying that he died. So when the news came in, most people took it with a pinch of salt because the news had been coming very often. So people thought, many people doubted it. So when finally it dawned on us that this is what had happened, and accounts gave us that he was rushed to the hospital, whatever. Suddenly, the same people have to come back and tell us that, if he's died, there must be some criminality involved, that people, people neglected their duties or whatever. There were no doctors around him, and we came up with so many conflicting, statements. So, in my view, if we think we should even inquire into the cause of death, from their own point of view, what they were saying, you see, what again I want to say that who is responsible for asking for that thing? Is it just any passerby, anybody in the street, just any ordinary person? And what is his motive? If we listen to most of the accounts we've recorded here, which came from the MPP, let me read some for you. Mr. Yaobuabia Samwa.
That's the Deputy Communications Director of the
Yes.
NPP. Yes.
Said on Metro TV, Good Morning Ghana, on the 13th of August.
Yeah.
He said the President Mills arrived in a Ford Explorer, not an ambulance. He arrived in a Ford Explorer.
That was yesterday. He made a statement yesterday.
Yeah, trying to impute that even nobody cared for him. He was rushed in a Ford Explorer, whatever. You see, there are so many conflicting things here. Michael Kwe Jr. said on Net2 TV, said yesterday, he said, President was not conveyed to the 37 military hospital in an ambulance, but rather a 4x4 and was left in the car for good 45 minutes. You see, he was left in the car, and it was really two gentlemen who accompanied him, a driver and a gentleman in suits. Look at that statement. A driver and gentleman. He was left there for 45 minutes, and he was aware. He was aware. Whoever gave him that account was aware that the man lying in the car was there for 45 good minutes. Whoever was watching, whether the groundnut seller, whether whoever reported to him that the president was. It's interesting the way the person recorded at the time.
That
for 45 minutes, the president was in that whatever. And let's go further. The Statesman newspaper, which is a pro-NPP newspaper, says something here. Listen to it carefully. The autopsy report stated that the president died of metastatic throat cancer that spread to the sinuses, eyes, and throat. I'm not a medical practitioner, but look at the English expression. He died from throat cancer, which spread from affected what? Metastatic and spread to the throat. What kind of cancer is that?
That's interesting.
What kind of cancer is that? And he said it on Metro TV. I could go further. Honorable Baladomone, I think that was just humorous. And he said it on Peace FM also yesterday that the president arrived at 37 military hospital in a pickup. You see, when we listen to all this account, what we conclude is that, well, it could have been maybe necessary to go into the inquisition or whatever, but the accounts you are giving us. So if excuse me to say, anybody, any layperson, seeing that the president has died, and without any basis, because somebody said he met the president walking, using a walking stick and fell in a gutter or something and died, then there should be. I mean, let's see the basis.
Yeah, the facts of the issue.
The facts of the issue. So what all these things, arguments, they're trying to impute some criminal motive that people neglected their duties, people were not responsible, and the president was left to die, whatever.
In fact, within the first week, I've heard stories that the president might have been strangled and all kinds of.
They say he drank cocoa.
All kinds of.
And they say,
incredible.
and I must tell you, somewhere, I heard it somewhere, it's so incredible. Somebody was bold enough to go and said he learned that, or the post-mortem result has shown that the president bled from the nose, and nobody can bleed from the nose, according to medical report, unless somebody hits him hard on the face before he can bleed on the nose. Just last Saturday, I bought a Mirror newspaper, and they gave an account of how a person can bleed from the nose. Sometimes in the Hamatan season, it can happen.
Bleeding,
So by saying this to the public, and one funniest one, which I said I heard only yesterday, the person was so furious. He just came out and said, you Ghanaians don't speak the truth. The truth is that, the whole truth is that Isoku Jeto, Honorable Minister of Information, who killed the president. Why is he saying that? He said, look, the doctors gave the president, 3 months to rest.
Wow.
But Honorable Deputy Minister of Information, Kujetu, insisted that the president stay. That's why he died. I mean, so funny story. So if we are going to use our resources, our time and energy, people, sleeping rough, we need electricity. You need to take electricity, some remote areas, give them good pipe-borne water and whatever. And if we are coming to sit down to do this, and people who are claiming that people who are insisting that we do this, also claim that when they come to power, they could do some things better, to better the lot of the Ghanaian. And they are insisting on this. What is their motive?
Yeah, but Fifi, if you listen to those who have made the claims, Bobe Samoa is a lawyer.
You see?
Michael Kwe Jr. is a lawyer. Gabriel Shridaku himself is a lawyer. And we've had other professionals speak on the matter, and then they've articulated the same position to the extent that even Michael Kwe Jr. claims that the president died at 10 a.m. in the morning. And isn't it shocking that professionals, lawyers who are supposed to speak the truth always will come to do this to the people of Ghana? This
is what we call intellectual dishonesty. The main thing is that they've forgotten that this time the Ghanaian electorate is very, very sharp. It's very, very smart. You say these things to insult their intelligence. You say these things to insult their intelligence. And at the long run, when they vote against you, you say, oh, they've been lied to. The Ghanaians, the electorate have been lied to. Ghanaians don't like the fact, that's why. A whole lawyer, you should know better.
should deal with facts.
You should deal with facts. But if you join the bandwagon of people who don't know, and you to go there to muddy the water and throw dust into their eyes and expect them to believe what you say, that's why we have a lot of problems. That's why the country itself, any good thing that comes to the Ghanaian, because the electorate or the masses rely on us for good information and for good direction. If you throw that into their eyes this way, and you believe that they still follow you and what you think, that's why when it comes, they will vote against you. And finally, you will say they are rather not smart.
Okay.
Because they fell for cheap propaganda.
Yeah, let's look at.
Meanwhile, look at what you are doing.
Let's look at some of the calls that have come so far. AFAC made a call for an inquisition. The president of the Ghana Medical Association also jumps onto the fray.
Let's come on that. The president of Ghana Medical Association, it's rather unfortunate. I thought, when I heard him, I said, yeah, what is happening? Because this same man, when they were on strike, and people were appealing to them to go back because they are acting against their hypocritical oath. His answer was that people die in hospitals anyway. So I want to ask him, when they went on strike and people died, when they embarked on their strike and people died, did he order for investigation or whatever into the cause of death at the hospital? Because if everybody die anyway, fine, people die in hospital. But this is an act. When you were on strike, if there's a criminal motive, this is it. So you can't just say we should conduct inquisition to the death of the president or whatever, because circumstances leading to his death is suspicious or whatever. Circumstances, the same circumstance when you were on strike, even if it is true that people, he was conveyed in the pickup or whatever, you see, and you want inquiry, I want to ask you, when you were on strike and people died, people just reported headache because maybe they have ailment somewhere, and the symptom, outward symptom was the headache, and you neglected and left them to die. Did you order inquisition to their, death?
Yeah, Abraham made a very important point when he stated that maybe we should be looking at the facilities that are available at the presidency in terms of taking care of our president. In fact, I heard one side of the story that stated that the president's sister had traveled from the central region to visit the president, and then when she was going back, the dispatch riders of the president had to escort the sister out of Accra. So when the president was taken ill, there was no dispatch rider. There was no motorcade to even lead the ambulance to. They started by saying that he was conveyed in a Ford Explorer. They went ahead to say in a pickup. Somebody said in a tractor. And now they are saying that there was no dispatch rider or motorcade to lead the ambulance. So, there is a whole distortion
it has been choreographed
Yes.
to make it look like there is some suspicion about his death, so that they could then call for the coroner's report. But they have choreographed, but their delivery is somehow warped. You see somebody saying it's a pickup. You see somebody saying it's a 4x4. Another person saying it's a Explorer.
That is what happens when you lie in a group.
Exactly.
Because
when
you
lie
have
in
different
a group,
versions
exactly.
of the
so
same
because
story.
it has been choreographed, you can see the faults in the way they deliver it. But the Coroners Act, like I indicated earlier on, is the purpose of the act is to establish criminality and then deal with the person who caused the death of the person. And so the section on notification also says that the hospital authorities, and I'm going to read failure to comply with section 2.
Okay.
It says that a person who, without reasonable cause, the burden of proof which lies on that person, fails to comply with section 2. Section 2 is what? To notify the death of the disease to the coroner. So if you fail to do so, commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine not exceeding 200 penalty units or to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 6 months or to both. Okay. So the hospital authorities are aware of this liability hanging on their head, so that if they fail to do what they are required to do under the law, this punishment awaits them.
Is that to suggest that AFAG and those bodies are indicting the hospital authorities for failing to do their
exactly, that is one. Because he asks a relevant question. Who is supposed to call for the coroner's report? And the answer is in section 2 of section 2.3. It says that a person in charge of the hospital. He is the one who is to determine whether the death arose out of a natural event, or it was through a violent act, or it was suspicious. Okay. So it is the person in charge of the hospital. It's not me and you who walk around calling for a coroner's report.
Let me come straight to Fifi. Fifi, some stories that made the rounds indicated that there was no ambulance to convey His Excellency the President. Is that situation possible?
You see, before we go on with that one, both Ghanaians are living witnesses to what the president has been able to do since he assumed office. Ambulance service, it was non-existent now. Now we have the National Ambulance Service. So anytime you go to the castle, if you're a careful observer, you observe that there's always an ambulance parked in the castle. And even at the castle itself, we have 3 health posts. One in the castle building itself and 2 outside. And so, and anytime the president travels anywhere, he uses one ambulance that goes with him. Okay. The motorcade or whatever.
In the convoy.
In the convoy, there is an ambulance.
Okay.
So there's no situation where at any given situation, there's no ambulance at the castle.
And all these ambulances are manned by doctors?
They are manned by doctors, fully equipped to cater for any emergency situations. That is their duty, that's their job at the place. So anytime the convoy takes off, the ambulance follows. Anything it goes, there's still one at the castle. Yeah. And in worse situations, the national security is close by and there's an ambulance there. Standby ambulance always at that place. So there's no truth in the fact that there was no ambulance. The president had to go in Ford Explorer or whatever.
It's not a possible situation.
Like I was telling you, go across the country. A lot of ambulances have been imported. More than 400 ambulance vehicles supplied to most of the regions in the country. So if the president or the presidency had made sure that we provided all these facilities across the country, how come the council said there was no ambulance? It is not true.
So that story cannot be.
That story falls flat on the face. You see, so it's just mere propaganda. But what I kept telling you is that they should do things which will, in the long run, better the lot of the Ghanaian. But when you come always with lies, you can do your propaganda, nobody cares. Propaganda doesn't necessarily mean lies. But please insist on the truth. It will help you. But when you come out to say these things, the real underlying factor is that, underlying meaning is that you are trying to belittle the intelligence of the electorate or, in a broader perspective, the Ghanaian.
Let me come back to a point that Abraham made. Abraham, the president is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. And then the 37 military hospital is indeed a military installation. And as commander-in-chief, I believe there's always a VIP or even a VVIP section that is always available and reserved for His Excellency the President. So the stories that a pickup was parked outside for 45 minutes, there was only one doctor and one lady, and they went to. In some cases, we heard that he was taken to the maternity ward. Actually, it was
they didn't go with his folder, so the doctors.
Yes, exactly. We had all those. We had all those stories.
They didn't go with his folder.
Does that make sense?
You see, sometimes my father once told me that it's better to speak the truth so that you can have no difficulty speaking the truth for the whole day.
Okay.
Else, when you speak the truth, lies in the morning, you need to look for another lies in the afternoon and to cover the morning one, and then look for another lies.
Sometimes you forget the first one you told.
Exactly. That is what they are suffering from. They forget that the facility has these openings for a president to be put in there. They are trying to play into the minds of people and create the impression that, look, because we know that our hospitals are choked, on this occasion, our president got there and there was no bed for him. That's the kind of impression they want to create. But they don't know that in such hospitals, there are VVIP places where nobody uses that place unless it is the commander-in-chief.
And even in emergency situations, do you need your folder?
So I do not get what they are doing. You see?
But you don't carry your folder home, do you?
You don't. You don't. And you see, the Coroners Act, I always want to speak to law, does not require that the coroner should make his report or findings public. So if it will defeat the purpose for which they want it.
Okay.
They are telling us that they want a public finding and a public hearing of what has happened, so that at the end of the day it will be publicized for everybody to know. No, under the Act, there's nowhere in the Act, this 24 section Act, does not say that after the coroner has concluded his findings, it must be made public.
In the Daily Graphic.
In the Daily Graphic. So where do we, have we gone or we have come?
And even let me relate this to autopsy. Is it compulsory that after an autopsy, the details of that report is published? Because in the past, we've had deaths like the late Hawa Yakubu, Bauredu, Courage Koshigan, and we've had people, politicians and parliamentarians who died out of the blue. But we never had any argument as to an inquisition or an inquest into circumstances surrounding their death. And whatever happened to them was not made public.
Yes, and in some of the deaths you've mentioned, particularly the Hawa Yakubu one, there were allegations of poisoning. So this could even come squarely under the Coroners Act.
But they did not call for
they
it. They
didn't call, no. They speak with different tongues, depending on where it suits them. And so, and I was on telly arguing with Nana, the other guy.
Akomia?
No, their public relations guy. He's
okay, Fredua.
Fredua.
Yeah.
I was. Fredua said that I shouldn't compare because President Mills is a president, and then this man,
does that make the other people less human beings?
I said that look, the law, the Constitution, and it was only the Constitution. I said this Constitution you are copiously quoting also says that all persons shall be equal before the law.
Yeah.
So sometimes they are simply being mischievous. And I do not think that we should. Sometimes we need to respond to them, else it would stay in the minds of the people. That's why we are doing what we are doing. Okay. Else we should have just brushed them aside.
Okay, let me come to Fifi. Fifi, the Forum for Governance and Justice is asking that the health of our leaders or our president should be a prerequisite for ascending to the highest office of the land. Do you support that call?
In a way, yes. In a way, yes, because like they brought forward. Otherwise, I would have said anybody looking for any public, and some institutions do it. That you are required to bring medical reports or go for whatever before you bring it. If we are going to institute it this way, then like a lawyer said, it should go across board because everybody, every Ghanaian should be. Otherwise, we would be asking questions now. Some people sometimes leave office, and even when they leave office, the state that takes care of them. If I should do a lot of politics, President Kufuor is holding a walking stick now, and we are still catering for him. We may soon, maybe sometime we carry him to medical checkups or whatever. Maybe we should have asked then that before you take this office, where hereafter we will be taking care of your health status or whatever. You should go for a medical checkup. But the point is, who knows that this person going is sick or not? Sometimes you might go to the checkup and they find out there's nothing with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Then a week or a month later, you are infected with something. Will that report be still relevant? Okay. When the disease finally comes out? Okay. Will people also come out and say that the man brought a fake report to us? Okay. And for disease, it's in the wind.
Okay.
Lawyer. Under the Constitution.
Okay.
The health of the president is one of the grounds upon which the president can be removed. But it is not a condition to ascend to the presidency.
Oh, okay, so the Constitution caters for
unless
that already?
You are
yes, incapacitated, and there must be a medical report to that effect.
Okay.
But if you are now calling for this, that we need to, of what benefit would it be? Because I also know of very healthy people who otherwise did not have any medical problem. Die suddenly. Footballers.
Yeah. They collapse on the pitch.
They collapse on the pitch. You get the point. And these are people who are exercising every day. And we have thought that such people should not meet such a calamity. So I think that, look, the call may be right, but I think that what we should be doing is to ensure that our presidents go for routine checkups. The work there is so stressful. And sometimes you can virtually forget that you've not eaten and all these things. So we need somebody who will be there to ensure that the president takes his medical routine checks. And also they go for leave. Okay. They need to leave and then have their leave.
But in a political leo, like what we have in Ghana, when the president decides that I'm going for medical checkup and the next day the headlines are that the president is sick, the president is weak, the president is inactive, the president should be impeached, the president should be removed because he has taken the decision to go for medical checkup. And I recall clearly that at the last edited forum, he said that, look, he's okay. Anybody who wants to conduct a medical examination on him, he's free to do so. The Ghana Medical Association did not see prudence to go forward to say that, to volunteer that they want to do an examination of the president. And he also asked that all other aspirants that are contesting elections will also go through similar checkups, and everybody chickened out.
But what kind of sickness are we talking about? Day in, day out, we have headaches. And headaches can even cause death.
Yes.
It's happened. Somebody can be complaining of my head. In the next moment, he's dead. So who doesn't have a hospital card in this country?
We all do.
So what kind of sickness would disqualify somebody from becoming president? And so for me, it's a fruitless adventure. We shouldn't go into that. The Constitution has given us clearly the eligibility of people to become the presidency. We should just consider that and then leave this. It's God. These are matters that transcends beyond human understanding. We cannot think that we will not have a situation where your president will not be sick. I don't think so.
Okay, all right. We have a first caller, Mohammed from Bolga. Hello, Mohammed.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mohammed.
Good evening, your panel in there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, your line is quite bad.
My clear.
It's quite bad now.
It's clear.
I'm getting some feedback. Okay, you make your comment. Yeah, go ahead and make your comment.
But our program is, Mr. Malva, I want to agree with Mr. Malva to something. You make some submission.
Okay.
I'm very, very happy to that.
Okay.
Because Mr. Malva said, maybe somebody can wake up in the morning, cry, my head is paining me, send the hospital, that person can die.
Okay.
That one is true.
Okay.
Because Mr. Malva said, I know Mr. Malva very well. I'm still in Bolga. Mr. Malva to go through education to Bolga.
Okay.
I know Mr. Malva is still a lawyer. But everybody knows Mr. Malva, that is after 8 years. Mr. Malva can testify. Because now you are changing. There is no any problem because everyone knows you have clear background.
Oh, I'm sorry. You should be disciplined in your submission. I stated clearly that you should go straight to the point and your comment should be related to the matter. I'm sorry for that. And then let me go to Latif. Latif from Boku. Hello, Latif. Sorry, from Bolga. Hello, Latif.
It is rather Bolga, not Boku.
Yeah, Latif from Bolga, yeah.
Yeah, Felix, long time no hear you.
Yeah, Latif, we are doing good.
Thank God. Felix, to my own opinion, the little opinion that I have as Latif, as a Ghanaian,
okay.
I would have wished with the kind of hula baloo with regard to His Excellency the former president, may he rest in peace, with regard to the sickness, with regard to what he went on coma, he didn't die, and what have you. I would have wished, as a Ghanaian, after this death, I would wish to know what killed my president. I would have wished that way. But I don't know how you people will take it. But that is the way I wish.
Yeah,
like
there had been a post-mortem actually, and it's the preserve of the family.
We're hearing different stories. My mess is telling a different story. The sister is telling a different story.
No, Latif.
People,
Latif, I think the brother. Yeah, Latif.
Yes.
I think the brother was explicit on what caused the president's death. And then I think with respect to the family, we should take the brother's word for what it is worth.
But Felix, what also came from the weekly leaks with regard to Baba Jama?
I'm sorry, we are not discussing weekly. Thank you. Let me pick Zach from Navrongo. Good evening, Zach.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, Zach.
Yeah, thank you for your program. I think you guys are doing a very good job there. You are civil with your discussion, and I like the way you are comporting yourself by taking the Ghana public, keep it up, and then I encourage that. Don't accept people that are not civil in trying to mark the program. Continue to do the good job for Ghana.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, my brother. Yeah, let me pick Bashiru. Hello, Bashiru from Navrongo.
Hello, this is Bashiru speaking from Navrongo.
Yeah, Bashiru.
Please, all what we are talking about, the death of His Excellency, the late president, I think let's forget of all those things and concentrate on the national problems and then the issues.
Okay.
Because you can easily come out and, you will knock down by car and then you die.
Okay.
All this, can occur at any time. So let's give everything to God, and He will handle it.
Okay, all right,
and stop making noise about this thing.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. Let me go to Wassa Ekropong Bright.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, good evening, Bright.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, bravo.
sure.
I just want to contribute to the program.
Okay.
It is like we should not lose focus. The MPP, that is how they are. They will do everything possible to derail us from saying what the Professor Mills was able to live here in this country. Let we people of the NDC concentrate much
Okay.
on the legacy of the president.
Okay.
Let's go out there to tell Ghanaians what they, the MPP, if we could not see when the man was alive.
Okay. Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, Bright. Let me take my last caller, an interesting name, Fire from Mankasim. Hello, good evening, Fire. Hello.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, I hope you're not going to put me under fire tonight.
Yes, I'm fire. I'm not going to fire you, sir.
Okay, all right, okay. Proceed with your comments.
Yeah. My submission is that looking at the situation and the development, you could see that the NPP people, they are not consistent in what they are demanding. This means that they are being forced, for which I think Ghanaians should not even consider whatever they say.
Okay.
Because one of them will say that the man was carried out in a pickup, other in 4x4, other in that. This means that they want to do capital political out of the whole situation. And I think Ghanaians are now wise up. And I don't think those decisions that they want us to take will be considered.
Okay.
But I want to say that our communicators should also refine their message and make sure that they speak in one voice.
Okay, all right, okay.
This issue.
Thank you so much, Fire, and have a wonderful evening. Yeah, Abraham, if you want to run up.
Yes. I think that I do not think that the lawyers in the MPP are not aware of this Coroners Act. They are aware, and they are very good lawyers. I have much respect for them. But I think that the politics is eating too much, and I think that as professionals, we should stand by our professional ethics, so that even if it is not in our favor, we should still stand by our professional ethics to speak the truth.
Okay.
Nowhere in this Coroners Act does it say that you should conduct an inquest into a deceased person within 24 hours of the person's death, and nowhere does it say that the report must be made public. And when you look at the circumstances under which the president died, it does not fall under any of these circumstances.
Okay, all right, okay. Thank you. Briefly, I have 30 seconds for you.
Yeah, I think Ghanaians are still grieving over the death of the president. And I think one of the legacies, there have been many tributes to the president. One of the legacies that we should all, the best tribute we have to pay to him is to continue with the good work he did. What made most Ghanaians wept so much when they heard that he's dead. He did so many things, places that you don't expect that you see development and whatever. He improved the lives of most Ghanaians at every sector. So they were expecting more. Okay. So the sudden death was a big blow to them. Okay. So if any Ghanaian listen to me now, our main thing, each and every one, wherever we are, he left one thing, the peaceful nature of the president himself and the development project that he put across the country. We should concentrate on these things. Wherever you are, make sure you also carry the peace message and contribute to the development of the country.
Okay. At 54, he is 30 years older than William Pitt the Younger, who became British Prime Minister at age 24, and 3 years older than Obama. He speaks very well, measured, equable, and a gentleman in his own right. He is also very good looking, which is always an electoral asset. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama gets my vote in December, quote and unquote, by Colin Esamwa. And tomorrow evening at 8:30 p.m., His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, addresses the nation at 8:30 p.m. I urge you all to make a date with Excellency the President. Let me say